Hello, welcome back to the COD feed. Happy New Year, everyone, and hope you had a happy holidays.
Yes.
This is the show where we talk about this weekend's CDL
Not
news.
this weekend.
Or the news for the last week or so. I'm Victor, or Scooch.
And I'm John.
And before we get into this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Because it matters to us, and we care about you guys. All right? Help us reach 100 subs, guys, please. We're really trying our bestest here, okay? All right, so let's jump into this week's news. Now, the last week, since the roster mania drama happened, it's been pretty dry. Almost nothing has happened since the last time. We did miss our day, but
I don't recall.
Seems like it was destiny. Because just as we were planning the episode, drama broke out. News broke. It was fed to us by the COD gods, bro. It was perfect timing. The biggest news being that the LA Guerrillas have officially got their new roster announced. That being of our cities staying, Assault, Joe Deceives, and Exceed. 3 of those players are from the Challengers team, bro. Isn't that crazy? And they kept our cities. Now, we knew our cities was staying. That's
because he kind of confirmed it.
Yeah, he was like, I wanted to go to OpTic, contractual obligations, and also, it'd be messed up of me to leave.
Yeah.
So we knew he was staying. Huke was up in the air already. We knew Neptune and Spart had been dropped. We just didn't know where the team was going. The rumor was that this was going to happen, and it happened. Now, some people are saying Diamond Khan should have been in because apparently he was their best performer at Major 1 for the Academy. I will say, going off one performance alone is not enough to be like, this should be the guy we bring in. That's a little bit of a weird
you never know, too. There might be a chance that they're just playing around with it.
Yeah, listen. We've made this case before that that's how you should use your academy, right? Yeah. They should technically be your bench, and you can play around with it. You know what? This player isn't working. Let's bring this player back in. All right, this player isn't working. Let's bring this challenger in. I think that's great. I guess we'll see how this team does. I'm not really sure. LAG Academy did great at Major 1. They got pretty deep into the bracket. Not deep into the bracket, but they made it to bracket, which is, some pro teams didn't even make it to bracket. So
they did better than the pro team.
Yeah. So, I'm happy for them. Happy for some of these guys to get a shot. It's cool to still see RCDs at LAG. I always want to see that guy succeed. He's a funny guy. He's a good character. I like him. And LAG Academy at the same time, it also has a new roster consisting of Spart, Neptune, Diamond Khan, and Noisy. I've never heard of Noisy, I'll be honest. I knew about Diamond Khan even from before. I've heard of him already. And obviously we know Spart and Neptune, right?
Yeah.
I feel bad for Spart and Neptune, but at least they're still on a team that didn't get fully dropped, which kind of makes me happy to see that those guys are still competing at some level and that they weren't kind of just left out to like the fishes or left out to the sharks,
I am assuming that they're going to bring Spart back at some point, whether it's this season or the next season, just because, he's on a 3-year contract and they didn't drop him.
Yeah.
So
I will also say Spart is somewhat of a wild card that they can use sometimes.
Yeah.
The first time they brought him in as a sub for Gunless, he popped off. I'm still happy to see him competing. It's not terrible. And then which also leaves us with the other big news. And that is that Huke is now a free agent after a mutual agreement was reached between both parties. Whatever that means. We're still very unsure on what these contracts even mean. After a mutual agreement, he is now a free agent. Now, the rumor was that he was going to join up with OpTic, reform Zeo.
Is a possibility still.
It's still a possibility. Now, our little tinfoil hat on. My theory was, because you mentioned this before we started, right? Why didn't OpTic just buy him out? And I said, what if Huke already had a suspicion he was going to get dropped? So he reached out to OpTic, said, hey, guys, wait it out. Instead of buying me out, I'm going to be a free agent. Wait and then pick me up. And then maybe that way they can pay him a higher salary. He can get that nice little higher salary because they don't have to pay a buyout clause or fee or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a theory. Just a little game theory,
Pretty viable because, honestly, they would have to pay LAG probably hefty for Huke because they knew that. They know that. Everyone knows that OpTic's desperate for another player.
Yeah.
So the buyout probably would have been ridiculous, to be honest.
Now this kind of leaves it open for OpTic. They kind of can do. They have finally an option that they didn't have before. Now everyone was like waiting. First off, there was a lot of rumors as to who it could be. Right? At one point, Celium was a rumor, which was kind of crazy. That's kind of a really insane rumor, right? And then on top of that, OpTic has made not a single statement. They haven't even officially dropped Dashy. Okay, Dashy kind of dropped himself in a way.
Yeah.
Shotzi has not streamed at all because they're probably scared he's gonna leak everything that's going on. And then scrims are starting, so maybe we'll see someone leak who they're scrimming with, or maybe they won't scrim at all, which apparently has happened before, where they just don't scrim.
Yeah, apparently, I think I saw a tweet that they were supposed to scrim today, and they didn't. So I guess we'll see.
I'll just say this: running it back again would be the dumbest move they can make. Look, at this point, pick up a challenger, pick up Huke. If they still want to change Illy out, I don't know if Illy's staying or not, but pick up Huke at least and just get running, because right now they're chalking up the season and it's Scump last season. Someone tweeted it is 166 days before Scump is done. So just do something, do anything,
Well, I mean, from what we've heard, it doesn't look like they're dropping Illy.
Yeah.
So they're just dropping Dashy, and at this point, who knows if they're even gonna drop Dashy, right? Yeah. Because they're not even announcing that they're parting ways or anything, probably for a reason, because they want that to have that like backup plan
in case they can't find anyone, right?
In case they can't get anyone, they'll just keep Dashy, which is kind of what they did last time. They dropped Dashy and Illy, right?
Yeah, I think it would be
like, no, it's a prank.
It would be so stupid of them to do that. That's my opinion. And also, I was very confused as to why they dropped Dashy over Illy. I understand Dashy has had some, just work rate issues, where he might not show up on time or blah, blah. And I did see some tweets of people saying that lately that hadn't been the case, that Dashy had been showing up early. He had been showing up to scrims. He had been doing what he needed to do. And so I thought it was weird after Major 1 seeing Illy completely flop after teabagging and shooting bodies that they would drop Dashy instead of Illy. Made no sense to me. Could have been a Shotzi call. Shotzi loves playing with Illy. Could have been that.
Also, Illy keeps getting sick, right? Because I think they said that. I don't remember. I think it was towards the beginning of the
whole team. The whole team was
Major.
Sick.
Yeah, right. They said Shotzi was sick. Scump wasn't feeling well because he had Chipotle or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Illy still has his thumb thing going on.
Yeah.
He's not fully there. I don't know.
Hey, man, I guess we'll see. OpTic right now, it doesn't feel like they're going to be stable until Major 3 at least. Major 2 is chalked.
I mean, who knows with all these changes?
That's true. There are a lot of changes.
Every other team might be even worse.
Yeah, but, or OpTic just pull out the miracle run for Major 2. We'll see. Yeah. All right, moving on from the OpTic drama, let's move on to some other drama that happened today, just hours before recording. It was crazy, okay? So everyone already knew Paulehx had dropped the challengers. That was not news. Decimate had already announced him, so it wasn't news. We knew he was going to be a challenger player and that Ravens dropped him. And the rumor was already that Scraps was going to be taking over.
Yeah, it's like unofficial, official. Like everybody knew.
And then he went and just announced it on Twitter. He said, streaming the Elite Qualifier tomorrow. As many of you guys know, I was benched for Maddie and will be in Challengers till further noticed. So, he's going to be playing with Venom, Hollow, and Mach. I don't really keep up with Challengers, so, that's new to me. But this kind of set off a can of worms. So in doing that, he basically officially announced Scraps to the main roster. And Scraps was not all too happy about the announcement, saying, "Are you faded?" After Paulehx deleted the tweet. I'm sure Ravens told him to delete it. He didn't delete it on his own accord. Because, as he said in his last tweet, he is on the bench. So he's doing challenges, but he's benched.
Why wouldn't he be salty?
Salty. I think it's perfectly fine for him to be salty, first off. Second off, I don't understand why Scraps is so angry. We all knew this was happening. This is not new to anyone. And Paulehx says, I'm streaming the Elite Qualifier tomorrow, and you're our sub. Who else is going to be starting? We both know the announcement wasn't coming out today or tomorrow. And then he says, thanks for announcing my team, G. You're him. And someone's like, bro, everyone knew. And he's like, so that gives him the right to announce it? Okay. Literally.
Everyone's just like, it's not that deep.
Everyone's like, it's really not that deep, bro. Most of us already knew this was happening. I don't understand why you're so mad. I get it. He wanted this big announcement and stuff. But Ravens also has a lot of stuff going on right now in their admin roles and stuff. They are going through a merger right now. Ravens' parent company, I believe, is going through a merger. I believe it's a merger with Spanish streamer Ebai's company, Koi. Which, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I also believe PK is a part investor in Koi. I know they have some. PK has been in some of his streams lately. They've been talking about some business stuff that they're doing or whatever.
He probably is some sort of investor, but
yeah, Koi is buying Ravens basically, or at least the company that owns Ravens, and so Ravens might become a Spain team first and foremost. And I don't think they're worried about announcing that their bench player, who is already on the team basically, is going to be put into the starting roster. I don't think there's a need to announce that your bench player is going to be starting.
Regardless, I don't understand why Scraps is mad at Paulehx. Yeah. He should be mad at the team or whoever runs these accounts for not announcing anything, right? Especially if they know that Paulehx is literally streaming it, the Elite Qualifiers, like the next day. Like, wouldn't you want to have something out before then?
Right. That's kind of what some other people were saying. They're like, this has to do more with the company than it does with you and him.
Yeah, why are they
need to be mad at him? But also, it's like I said, right? It's not like they picked up a completely new player from Challengers to put into their main roster. They benched Paulehx. Scraps is on their bench already. So who are you going to – you're going to rotate in your bench most likely, right? And Paulehx kind of makes sense there. So it's nothing insane. I think Scraps just wanted to kind of have his big comeback story or whatever.
Yeah.
But, that's neither here nor there, okay? In a way, this kind of also gives him, to me at least, a bad look where he's like, it should be about me. And he's not. It makes me feel like he's not going to be as much of a team player.
I was about to say, when someone comes in with that energy, it's not going to be good. But he could prove us wrong.
Yeah. I guess we'll really see what happens there.
See.
We have games coming up next week. Finally, Friday on the 13th, we finally have some games coming. It's been a while. I'm not going to lie. It felt like forever. It almost felt like Major 1 didn't even happen, to be honest, because of how long the break was between matches.
Well, we're about to have almost a month in between.
Yeah.
The end of Major 1 and then the start of
It's a long time, bro. A long time. And, I'm excited. All these team changes. I'm excited to see what OpTic's going to do. I think everyone's excited to see what we're going to get. Hopefully we get an announcement this week or by the weekend at least.
There has to be something coming up.
Something's going to be announced. At least tell us Dashy's gone, please. Dashy's just tweeting out cryptic things and liking tweets, but, nothing official yet. He did say he
probably doesn't even know anything.
Yeah. So we'll see how this first weekend of qualifying matches goes. We'll see if LAG does anything good with their new roster. We'll see if OpTic does anything. We'll see if Ravens can kind of come out of that slump from also doing horrendous at Major 1.
We'll see where Huke goes.
The 3 teams we're discussing right now did terrible Major 1. LAG, OpTic, and Ravens. They were all awful. So
but did they have to blow it up?
Did LAG have to blow it up? I think they just needed
debatable.
Look, OpTic blow it up. Yeah, I don't even know why they ran it back. Ravens technically just did a swap for their bench players, so it's nothing crazy. It could be fine.
I do feel bad for Paulehx.
Yeah, he's been grinding so hard. No luck. Yeah, and he's a good player. I think. Sometimes these teams need to look at what can the team do to be better instead of drop this player instead. I think a lot of teams and coaches have become a little too kill-oriented, where they look more at kills than anything else. And it's not a good way to look at the game, at least if you're in the competitive scene, of only thinking of kills and not thinking about objective. Because at the end of the day, most of these game modes, besides like Control, are more objective-based than they are kill-heavy. You can win S&D on kills, but at the end of the day, it's also about how you plan your movement around the map more than running around and killing,
I just think they probably just got too used to like such a short life cycle for these games. Like they play for a couple months and then it's a new game, so they're just like, oh, we'll drop someone because we don't have time to help them get better.
Yeah.
Because it's such a short amount of time that you're playing the game for. But with a 2-year game, maybe it is worth just working on the player.
I will say, I think one thing that teams need to change is maybe stop hiring ex-pros as coaches and maybe hire someone that has a more, like, chess way of thinking of the game than someone who's, he was a GOAT at the game in Black Ops 2. He should be a good coach, right? Because a good player doesn't always mean a good coach.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of soccer. Look at Frank Lampard, okay, with Everton right now, or is this Frank Lampard, he's at Everton and they're doing terrible. Steven Gerrard just got sacked from Aston Villa because he was doing terrible. A good player is not always a great coach. Sometimes a great coach is someone that probably wasn't that good of a player but understands how the game works.
Yep.
I think it'll be a long time before teams finally realize that.
By the time they realize it, the CDL is going to be gone.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother topic where I don't see a long lifespan in Call of Duty competitive.
We have a whole other video about that.
Yeah. Especially with it being CDL and not CWL or MLG. It's been going on for a long time, but their new business model is not a business model that can sustain.
There is no business model.
Yeah, basically, actually.
They're just winging it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we could have a whole other video about that.
So,
we should.
Yeah, maybe we'll let us know, guys, if you want to hear our as two people that studied business in school. I mean, me, it was only one semester. You actually went to school for it. Let us know if you want us to talk about it. We can have a whole video, have a little the CODcast or something. I don't know. We'll workshop it.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But let us know down below. What do you guys think about these moves? Do you think Huke is going to go to OpTic? What do you think of the new Guerrillas rosters? And let us know what you think about the whole Ravens drama. Comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, because we appreciate all of you. Try to get us to 100.
It's true. Right? It's true.
And we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.